It's gonna be great.
Welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Liz. And today is officially the third episode of our newest mini episode series, 50 Shades of Grey. Here we are.
Yay!
Or as we like to call it over here, it's 50 Shades of May.
Yep. Because it is gonna be May.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Covering the last book.
Week 3.
Week 3.
Yes. Today we are covering 50 Shades Freed. And all of these books are by E.L. James. You might be wondering, oh, freed. Oh, does she finally get freed of Christian? Because this book is so crazy. Well,
No.
stay tuned and find out. No, that's not what this is about at all.
Nope.
We're not in the spoiler section yet, but it's coming. Oh boy, it's coming. And we'll tell you how we feel about it. So don't worry, if you haven't read this book yet, we're not spoiling it for you quite yet. So as you know, we started off with our Dark Romance Enters the Chat episode where we kind of kick off our mini series. So this time, obviously, all about dark romance, because what did 50 Shades do to us? No, to we the people as a society.
To form a more perfect union.
Yes, of dark romance being more acceptable, I guess you will.
Accepted.
You know?
Accepted.
Accepted.
We'll say. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Accepted within culture and life. So we talk about that. We talk about the history of dark romance and everything like that. And yes, what 50 Shades did to pop culture and us and why. So we did that. And then we did our other 2 episodes talking about the first 50 Shades book. Then we went into 50 Shades Darker. And now we're bringing you Freed. And then we'll be freed after this. No, we won't. Because we got 1 more.
Yep.
2 more. We got 2 more episodes for you. We have a fun little... Are we announcing it now?
We're announcing it today.
Okay. We're going to be doing... okay, hang on. Because just like Twilight, which if you didn't know, 50 Shades is kind of like loosely based off of Twilight. Kind of like a fanfic, if you will. So, of course, just like Stephanie Meyer did, where they did the point of view from Edward, as well as some other different weird books, E.L. James wrote Grey's perspective in the following books. Well, we're not doing those. Okay?
No, we're not.
We've had enough, quite frankly. We're going to read a parody book called 50 Shades of Earl Grey by, is it Andrew Shaffer and Fanny Merkin. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But we've heard some good things.
Yep. I'm excited to read it. I literally just I clicked it in the Fable chat because you know how you can sometimes read little samples, and I just read the first paragraph of the first chapter and it made me laugh out loud, and I was like, okay, good. Hopefully this is a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yep. And then, of course, we'll do a wrap-up episode where we talk about, everything in its entirety, as well as the movies versus the books. We'll do a ranking, maybe, like we did with Hunger Games. We'll see. We'll see.
Not?
Yeah. 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 It's fun.
So, so today we're talking about 50 Shades Freed. I've got it here for you guys. It's the final book.
Don't be deceived by those handcuffs. Don't be deceived.
Don't be deceived by literally. Why? Oh my God, I've never even noticed this. Okay, look, listen. There's handcuffs on the cover of this book. This is just the mass market paperback, which, by the way, I'm really glad that I did not invest in special limited edition copies of the hardcovers. We'll get into why, but they're very hard to find. By the way.
Well.
Yeah. So anyways, the handcuffs literally say right here the word stop.
Oh.
What?
Oh, so at this point it's purposely deceiving. That's what it feels like.
Purposely deceiving. Yeah, totally. Erotic romance, mature audience with handcuffs on the front that says stop. Well, we'll be here to tell you stop, but maybe not for the reasons you think.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she's like, help, stop. Please stop. Everybody stop.
That's a subliminal message.
Subliminal messages. Is she being held captive? Do we need to help
twice.
James out? Yeah.
Oh my God. So anyway,
I can't get off this train.
We've never read these before. If you guys are new here and you're just popping on to hear us chat about these books, this was our first read. This is all our in real time experiences. Yeah. So hey, if you want our real time experiences, make sure to go follow along on the Fable chats. We'll keep those up for a while, where you can hear all of our chapter by chapter unhinged thoughts with no spoilers, and that's over at Besties in the Book Club on Fable.
Yeah, sorry that we can't help it at all because we have nothing to do with it. But the fables for this book, Freed,
and book
were
2
crazy.
Yeah, like the chapters are all like weirdly out of order and messed up. So,
duplicates. So sorry. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But you'll see if somebody commented. So you could, if you want to see what the comments are, and then you could just pick one to comment on, and we'll check it out too.
Yeah.
But for such a popular book, I'm like, why is this so crazy?
Jumbled?
This
yeah.
Fable.
It was weird.
It was crazy.
We should probably email Fable, but instead we're just going to not do that and talk about it here and hope that someone fixes it someday. Because,
yeah. Maybe they're like, nobody's reading this anymore.
It's fine.
Yeah. Like we're over here drowning. Okay.
So first time reads for us, and we just wanted to explore, what this did for the romance genre in general, with a focus on dark romance a little bit as well, even though at this point in time, I think we've pretty much established that we wouldn't consider these to be dark, so there we are. But yeah, so we're going to kick it off with our spoiler-free Star and Spice ratings, as we do. And then we'll get into the spoiler section from there, but before we get into that, we just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Dude, thanks for being here with all of our shenanigans and thorough thoughts. We appreciate all you guys. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcasts, including YouTube. And you can also check us out over on Instagram and TikTok. We're at Besties in the Books podcast everywhere except Fable. That's the free app you can download if you want to join our virtual book club. You can search Besties and the Book Club and come hang out with us.
Yeah.
We also have monthly reads going on too. So we do these mini buddy reads, and then we have a monthly traditional book club book as well. So It's fun. It's a fun time.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start this time. I, again, am rating this book 3 stars. I was really hoping that we would rebound back to a 4-star. However, that did not occur.
Yeah.
And the reason why 3 stars is because I felt like it was very slow paced. The spice was frequent, but not entertaining. And it was not what I thought it would be. So 3 stars. Again, I'm going to give it a 4 spice, frequency alone. That is it. It's literally due to the frequency of the acts. Because it did happen a lot, but it just wasn't interesting.
I guess I just blacked it out at this point. Because I'm like, I felt like this was the least amount.
No, I feel like it was very consistent, like, throughout. Like, I feel like it was one of those series where, like, each one was could have blurred into, like, one big, long book. Truly, this could have been one book, one normal size book.
Yeah, honestly.
But, yeah, I feel like the spice was, it's just for Chili Peppers because of the fact that it was happening often, but it wasn't necessarily anything to write home about.
Yeah.
What about you?
3 stars as well. I've consistently been 3 stars for each book because it's just okay. It's just fine.
Yeah.
I get why people might have liked it at the time that it was released, because 2011 I think was the first one, right?
I honestly don't know. I don't remember.
We've come a long way. So maybe that's part of it too, guys. We've come a long way with spicy scenes. And this book, 50 Shades Freed, had a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot happened real fast at the end there. And then that was it. So, I don't know. It was just fine enough.
What do people say now? I hope you're hungry for a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
This was 2012. 50 Shades Freed was 2012 copyright. So yeah. So we have come a long way, and that's good. That's everything has its place.
I mean, we're looking at 12 years ago for this book, 13 for this book.
Yeah.
The first one, I think, it was kind of boom, boom, boom at what sounds like publishing.
Yeah.
So, hey. The book scene is quite a difference now, and maybe some respect goes to this one for paving the way. Maybe some people read it and were inspired to write better. So, I see your 50 Shades, and I'm going to raise you a good spicy scene. Okay, so, dun dun. There's my Law and Order. Spoiler are up ahead, guys. Spoilers coming. Toot toot. If you don't want to spoil it, well, don't worry. There's honestly not that much to spoil. So, hey.
Here we go. Are we ready for the 5-sentence summary?
Take me away. The sweet escape. Let's go.
Okay, all right. Christian and Anna go on their 3-week honeymoon to Europe. And when they get back, Anna starts working as the new editor of SIP because Jack is gone, and Christian officially owns the company. Soon, Anna will be the owner.
It's gonna be me. One.
When Christian is on a business trip, Jack breaks into his house and tries to kidnap Anna, but she is safely out having drinks with Kate. He is apprehended by the security team and put in jail, where he eventually gets out on bail with the help of an unknown person, even though Christian's security team now has cause to believe Jack was behind the fire at his headquarters, the helicopter crash, and the high-speed chase.
Ooh. Wait. I also have long nails this week. And the first week I did it, I didn't. So it's an extra difficulty.
Hindrance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not that my abilities are top notch. Two.
Christian surprises Anna by taking the whole crew to his Aspen house, where his brother Elliot proposes to Kate, and she says yes. But when they get home, Anna's dad is in a horrible car accident with Jose and Jose's dad. They all end up being fine, however. However, Anna misses her birth control shot appointments and ends up getting pregnant.
Wait a second. Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Three.
Anna tells Christian she's pregnant, and he goes into a rage where he disappears to go drink and hang out with Mrs. Robinson. Anna is extremely upset, so they're barely talking when Jack kidnaps Christian's sister Mia and tells Anna to bring him a $5 million ransom secretly. She does so and saves Mia, but also shoots Jack in the knee and gets fairly badly beaten in the process. Christian and his security team come to the rescue, and Jack and Elizabeth, his accomplice, are apprehended. Sounds like something you'd listen to in a graveyard, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, lots of dashes in that sentence. Okay. After Anna recovers from her injuries, Christian apologizes and explains that he now knows he was abused by Elena, whose ex bailed Jack out of jail. Jack was another kid at one of his old foster homes in Detroit who he didn't remember, who obviously has been jealous of him his entire life. They move into this gorgeous new house and live happily ever after with their son, Theodore, and a baby girl.
Well, I'll do a little happier.
Great job.
I guess. You, though, you did a great job. So, you know, let me give you a little fiddle jig.
Just feel it, guys. Just feel the music.
That was great. I just wish that I could just start the episode with that. You know? Or just like, what if like YouTube just will just pop it in a random spot and people are like, what the hell is this? I thought this was a book podcast. Why is that lady playing the violin like a fiddle?
Oh, here we are. The epic conclusion to the original trilogy. What a time.
Yep.
What a time.
Time passed, that's for sure.
Time passed. Not very much time.
No, not at all. All of these books, by the way, are what? 3 months maybe now, because there's a 3-week honeymoon in there. And
Yeah,
I think there was like a month of wedding planning. So I think it's about 3 months, maybe 4.
I think
total.
it was 4 months total for the entire trilogy.
So a summer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, with Seattle weather, you gotta get going, right?
It's true.
Because it's gonna be raining. You know how the rain is up there.
Can't be May forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we address this? Okay. So did we already talk about the fact that like we planned this whole like it's gonna be gray, it's gonna be May thing without starting the books yet? So we did not know that the books started in the month of May explicitly. Yeah. Like we did not
also
know that. What a weird
wow.
coincidence. That's special.
Perfectly aligned.
Perfectly
it's meant
aligned.
to be. It was written in the stars. Like us weirdos had to sit around and talk about 50 Shades of the Violin and 5-sentence challenges and all of that.
Yeah.
Hey,
amazing.
Written in the stars.
Yep. So, all right, Ashley, what was your favorite part?
Okay. I liked, it was filler. So I take this with a grain of salt, but it was a fun time, reading about them gallivanting around on their honeymoon and visiting Colorado. It's chill. You know, if I liked this book, I would have liked that part even more because it was a fun little thing to read.
Yeah, if you want to read some fluff about people on vacation, there you go.
I kind of tried to separate it. I'm like, okay, this is just a time of vibes, so let me just enjoy that time. But I did notice that was a little more Twilighty, right?
Yeah,
so you have the
for
honeymoon scene and the wedding stuff. So hey, yeah. What was your favorite part, Liz?
I put the nods to Twilight. So that, and then their meadow. Like, tell me that wasn't Twilight inspired. The fact that in the last, I think, like, page or two, she talks about, you know, looking out at the view from their new house, and she talks about the twilight over the sound. And I was like, So I liked that. Also, honorable mention, probably my favorite part in this book from, like, a ha-ha perspective. Okay. I will never, this is like lives rent free in my brain till the end of time now. So great. So the name of his the names of his security details in France, Philippe and Gaston, his two security guards, Philippe and Gaston in France. Yep. Yeah. When I read that, I could not stop laughing out loud. I was like, it's like she couldn't come up with any French names. So she was like, what do I know that's French? Like, I'm just going to look at Beauty and the Beast and see what the best I can do is. Oh my God. I was laughing so hard. So now I just think about that constantly.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite part. What about your least favorite part? We probably have the same least favorite part.
Say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Surprise
Christian
pregnancy.
calling her stupid.
Oh, different. But that's all right. Same thing, though.
But kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah, because he calls her stupid with the surprise pregnancy.
Yeah.
I was screaming. So I do like to have emotional reactions for books, but not like this. Like,
but not this one.
I was like, oh, this is what birthed the not liking surprise pregnancy tropes. And then his reaction.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, straight in the trash can.
Straight in the trash can. Yeah, the surprise pregnancy I did not love. I kind of saw it coming, though. It's like, I feel like this, you know, I don't know. It didn't surprise me that was in there. But yeah, what bothered me more than the surprise pregnancy was how Christian responded to it. It was terrible.
Calling her stupid?
Yeah. Like, it was just... In that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, I've been trying to give Christian the benefit of the doubt this whole time. And in that moment, I was like, and no more. I think my comment in the Fable chat was, dude didn't want you to sign a prenup? Great. Take half his money and get out of there.
Yeah. Done.
I was like, no, not worth it.
Not cool.
Not cool. I get that he was panicking, but it's like, he's just not emotionally intelligent enough to be like, this is a lot of information. I'm freaking out. Give me a second. Yeah. I got to go for a walk.
Oh, he handled it so poorly.
He
literally ran into the arms of his assaulter.
Yeah.
For guidance and help.
Yeah.
Oh, that man needs a lot of work. A lot of therapy.
I know. He's already going once a week. Freaking, what is he going to do? I don't know. But I will say, though, the good that did come out of the fact that he ran into Mrs. Robinson's arms was the fact that he immediately recoiled from her touch and realized that because now that he's in a quote unquote, we'll take this with a grain of salt, healthy relationship, he's realizing that the relationship that he did have with Elena was really bad. And so that was like his light bulb coming on moment. So in that way it was good, but the way that he dealt with it was very bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what about your favorite character?
I'm not done talking about this.
Oh.
So
okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
We've got all day. Okay. We've got until 4.
It sucks because I think unfortunately for that level of emotional maturity, it is a very normalized reaction that people have.
Totally.
That he goes and gets wasted and like ick. And I feel bad for her because this is her first relationship. She talks about, you know, she's kissed boys and stuff, but this is her first boyfriend, you know? And so it's like it's that naivety that you see as a 30-something-year-old watching a 20-something-year-old be like, girl, I mean, he's a billionaire, but like, you could do better, you know, personality-wise.
Maybe she's just thinking, like, maybe the logic is this, like, you know, I can fix him. because
always
everything
that.
because everything else will be easier, right? It's like you can't have it all.
I have time. I got time to fix them because we don't have to worry about money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't have to do anything. Like I could literally just like my full-time job is just dealing with his emotional mood swings. Great.
Yeah, it would just scare me so much because it's like, hello, he's not asking if she's freaking out. He's acting like she trapped him, and he's always been like, don't, she in the previous books has been worried that people are going to view her for that. And he's the first one to say like, no. And then immediately he's like, yes, you're trying to basically like, do this to him on purpose, or you're just an idiot and didn't take your birth control shots. Meanwhile, like, you don't let me have a moment to myself, a moment's rest. Where would I go?
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's like the reason why I was forgetting was because I was dealing with the fact that my dad was in this horrific car accident and he was like in the hospital, and I was dealing with all that stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm. It was crazy. It was weird. It was another fever dream moment where I'm like, am I taking crazy pills? Am I reading the same book everybody else wrote? Because I thought I saw a spoiler when we were reading this that Christian switches out her birth control or takes her birth control away or something without her knowing and traps her with pregnancy. Yeah. And it's like,
that did not happen.
That's not what happened at all. So I was expecting that to happen. So that's why the surprise pregnancy in the way that it was a surprise for me, because I was like expecting him to have done that.
Yeah, totally.
And deal with that problematic thing of, basically putting placebos into her birth control. That's not what happened at all. No. So weird. Okay, so there was that. And then Christian's telling Anna about the Eric situation. So Eric is Elena's husband originally, who found out about the affair that she was having with Christian, and he beats her and she refuses to press charges, whatever. I'm like, let's not try to victimize Elena here a little bit, because I felt like it was written in such a way, at least it's from Christian's perspective. I'm like, she was a pedophile. Like, let's not act like it was just an affair that she found out, her husband found out about. Like, this is so much worse than that. He should have pressed charges, Yeah. So I had a problem with the entire trifecta of coming after Christian. I had an issue with Jack Hyde having an issue with him because he was a successful head of, publishing editor. He had a good life too. So he wrecked it for himself. It just doesn't make sense that he would go after Christian, right? Until he gets him fired, of course. But they make it out to seem like he's always tried to be coming after Christian.
I think that
he's watching them in the boat.
Yeah, I think that he just had like an unhealthy obsession with Christian because Christian got adopted and he had to stay in foster care. And like, I think it's like, it's not rational necessarily, but I think it's just how he responded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so there's that, and then I didn't like Elena's ex-husband Eric coming after him too, because I just don't think that that's a normal response in that situation.
No, but he's obviously a bad guy too.
Yeah, he's obviously a bad guy, but it's just like, dude, all these people need serious help because you know what you do? You throw your wife in jail for being with a person that's underage. You don't attack the person that was underage. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, also, if you're someone, though, who would, like, break your wife's arms and ribs and stuff, then you're probably not, like, your brain isn't functioning in that way, right?
That's true. Yeah,
I think that he was just probably a bad guy, too.
Yeah.
Maybe she was with him, maybe she was with him because he was also really a bad person. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then he was just mad that she cheated on him and didn't even care about the fact that it was literally, like, with a child because he's a bad guy.
Yeah, you're right. This is why these talks are good, because it helps me hash out the things that I hated. So put some different perspective on it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we can move forward now.
Okay, that's good. So, did you have a favorite character?
Nope. Did you?
I just put the same thing. Mrs. Jones, Taylor, Sawyer. I liked all those side characters. They were fine. Yeah. You know, I like that Taylor will go and buy her outfits. That's nice.
Yeah.
But no one that I really cared about. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who is your least favorite character in this book specifically? Then.
Christian.
Me too.
Yeah, with that pregnancy reaction, man.
Yep.
That did it.
I was like, did you think this through, E.L. James? Because this was a happily ever after, and you must have made a lot of us hate the MMC by the end.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
know.
like that's very off script for Twilight. I'll give her that if she was trying to be different because everybody loved Edward the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean,
he was very mature and not possessive, and it was like, hey, figure it out.
By the end,
Yeah,
because he definitely grew for sure. I feel like Christian supposedly grew, but kind of
what a mess.
What a mess. Yeah. So same. Least favorite character, Christian. Goodbye. I'm curious to see how they portray him in the movies because I'm like, if he's this unlikable in the movies too, I don't know. Like, where do we go from here? It's kind of like, okay, so you're with this guy who sucks. Happily ever after. Goodbye. You know what I mean? It's like weird ending.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
So how did you feel when reading this book? How did this book make you feel?
This book made me feel annoyed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, same. That's
For
what I
all
put.
those reasons. What about you? Yeah,
I
said.
I said increasingly irritated with Christian. And also, like, this book did not need to be 3 books. Like, it could have been 1 book. Easily.
Maybe 2 if you wanted to squish 2 and 3 together for all that drama. You know, like, 1 could be of them getting to know each other, and then 2 or 3 could have easily been 1.
Yeah, it didn't need to be. I feel like with good writing, it could have been 1 book.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just increasingly irritated with
it was
Christian.
only 4 months.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Under unanswered questions, I just put, nope. I have none.
We're good. Nothing to see here. There's nothing left.
Nothing left. Yeah, that's why I'm like, that's interesting that someone might finish these and be like, now I want to read it from Gray's perspective. I'd be like, I don't need to rehash this.
Yeah. So I think the next book is called Gray. So it's Gray's perspective. And it was like kind of cute, but I'm not obsessed enough at all to continue. But it was like his perception coming into the Gray family, you know, in his first Christmas. So that was like kind of cute.
Yeah.
I could see if you loved this series, I would definitely recommend continue on because you're going to see a different side for sure. If you want to see all sides. For us, it's a no. But hey.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't like Christian either. I think that's the thing is like by the end of the series, I don't like Christian. So like, I don't need to read things from his perspective because I don't need to find out that I dislike you even more.
It would have been such a minor thing just with the pregnancy situation to have handled it better for it to have been good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
or maybe like he didn't even have to handle it better, just not as bad as he did. I think it was so extreme.
And it was off character for how he's been too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He has like these little moments of possessiveness or in like controlling things, but it went off the rails for sure.
Yeah. Well, because he was responding like a 15-year-old boy would respond to finding out that they're going to become a dad. Like, that's why.
Ick. That's a major ick.
Yeah. Not like a 28-year-old billionaire who literally has all the resources in the world. Like, you'll be fine. Yeah,
it's like, this isn't going to be hard. You're going to have a nanny even. Like, 5 nannies probably. So I was trying to think, listening to this, I'm like, what changes about your life? Honestly.
Yeah. Like, you have house cleaners. You have nannies. You have drivers. You have, like, everything possible. The resources to put your kid in the best schools or homeschool them or literally do whatever you want. Like,
It's like basically getting a fish. Feed it, you know?
Like, he's worried.
An environment for it, you know? And pay somebody to clean the fish tank. Like, you have the easiest parenting job ever.
Yeah. Like, I think he's worried about, like, obviously, like, the emotional impact that he'll have on this kid because he sees himself as being so messed up. He's scared, and that makes sense. But, like, just because you're scared, you don't have to, like, literally react the way you did.
Yeah. It was a choice. It was a choice.
So my next question is, because you guys already know that we're not going to be continuing on and reading things from Gray's perspective. We did announce that we're going to be reading 50 Shames of Earl Grey. Are you excited to read the parody?
Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah. I do feel bad in a way because we know now that these books were so different than what they were painted as. So I almost kind of, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a little bit guilty reading another parody. It's like we've made a lot of fun, but I also don't, because that's what we do here. We make fun of things, whether we like them or not. So
Yeah.
it's like
think about it this way. If someone wrote an ACOTAR parody, I'd read that and enjoy it too. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
So that's how I'm looking at it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun time.
It'll be a super fun time. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Do you have any quotes? Cringy quotes?
I have a pity quote. It's not crazy.
Pity quote? Okay.
So this was Gray before he lost it all. Or maybe it was after. I don't know.
Before he lost it all. Lost his marbles.
Yeah. He said, "My world was ordered, calm, and controlled, and then you came into my life with your smart mouth, your innocence, your beauty, and your quiet temerity." I don't even know that word, to be honest. "And everything before you was just dull, empty, mediocre. It was actually nothing." Oh, there you go. That's nice.
It sounds like the less colorful way to say something that Edward would have said to Bella.
Yeah.
Like Edward would have said that to Bella, but would have made it so much more like elegant and like old-timey sounding, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll be bringing the important quotes to the table. Like, bitch troll, for example.
And another round of crack whores. Because they just kept coming and they don't stop coming.
Yep. I loved it so much because she deserves it. She deserves to be called a bitch troll. She does. And so that's just for anyone who didn't read the series. That is how Anna describes Mrs. Robinson or Elena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was good. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay. So these ones are a little bit more serious. So we'll talk more about this when we get into the red flags. But the quotes were, this was one that Anna says, "At least he's talking to me." So she's like, recognizes that his mood swings are really problematic, but she's just so grateful that he's like at least talking to her, right? I was like, that rubs me really wrong.
Yeah.
He says, and I put a star next to this one because I think it's important to note, "I want you to need me." And she says, she takes that as very like face value. Of course I need you. It's like she's looking at that from a 22-year-old's perspective. Of course I need you. I need you with my heart and soul. And in my mind, red flags are going off because I'm like, no, what he's saying is that he wants you to be so dependent on him that you can never leave.
Yes.
And to me, that's a super huge red flag because a lot of men actually think that way.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of women or people in general get trapped in relationships because they are financially dependent on oftentimes the man and cannot leave abusive situations. And I didn't like that because of that reason, because I don't think that she really understands implications of he now owns the company that you work at. He gave you the job that you have.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. You're married to him. You now are pregnant with his child. Like literally, I want you to need me. Like it's not an option for you to not need me. And I didn't. Yeah. It felt icky to me.
Yeah.
And then she says, "It occurs to me that I always think of Christian as strong and dominating, yet the reality he's so fragile, my lost boy. And the irony is that he looks upon me as fragile. And I don't think I am. Compared to him, I'm strong." And I was like, that's very true also, like emotionally speaking, for sure. And then she makes this other comment, like in the epilogue, that Christian grins, "My mercurial little boy, just like his... her little boy grins. He grins, "My mercurial little boy, just like his dad. Well, at least he has an excuse. He's only 2. I'm like, so literally you are admitting that he is acting like your 2-year-old son. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
How
Great.
fun for you.
Yeah.
At this point, I think that I had such a bad taste in my mouth for Christian that I was like also picking apart everything for reasons to not like him anymore.
I mean, he had the most red flags in this book out of all of them. Mm-hmm. Which, hey, maybe that is pretty like typical because we're only on month like 4 together. So the love bombing, while it's still happening, it's like, well, you might be actually kind of getting to know him for real now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Too little, too late.
Obviously, part of it is this author trying to keep the Twilight vibes, and I'm sure she probably got criticism in book 2 for not being Twilighty enough, you know? So they have to figure out how to throw a pregnancy in there and stuff. So I just wonder what the author direction would have gone if it wasn't keeping on Twilight, you know?
Or if it hadn't taken on like such a huge influence by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah.
So
what
okay.
a mess.
So now that we're at the end, we've officially finished the trilogy. We can look at it all as one big picture. Would you say like that it had a positive or negative impact on the genre in general? And you can even talk specifically about this book too, but like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know that my answer would be any different than it has been.
Yeah.
The last 2 episodes. What about you?
Yeah, mine's a little different. So, you know, everything that we've already said, I think, you know, ultimately it had a positive impact on the genre as a whole. So I'm going to stick with that. Like I'll die on that hill for sure.
Yeah.
My issue with this is that it has psychologically dark themes. So I think you go into it and you think that it's going to be about BDSM. It's going to have sexually dark themes, which I think pretty much all of us in the dark romance or even romance space are pretty used to at this point. And most dark romances do have psychologically dark themes. That's fine. But I think the issue here is that it normalizes them with a happily ever after, and an unclear understanding of this is toxic behavior. So that's the issue that I have with this book series, specifically book 3 also.
Yes.
So it's one thing if you're going into reading a dark romance and you're like, you know, you read the trigger warnings list and you're like, okay, we're going to be getting into some really dark, you know, physical, emotional themes. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what I'm getting into. I think that, what I just really didn't like about this was that there was a lot of trauma going on with Christian, obviously, because of his past. Yeah. But then the problem with that is that he's now passing those behaviors on to his relationship, now his marriage, probably his kids. But it's like, it wraps it all up in this happily ever after bow at the end. That's like, I just freaked out for a second. Everything's fine. We're going to get married and live in this beautiful, or we're married. We're going to live in this beautiful house. We're going to have a bunch of babies and live happily ever after. It's going to be amazing. And it kind of, I think, then just brushes over the fact that it's like, no, his years and years and years of trauma and emotional and physical abuse was not resolved in 4 months. Like, we're just skimming the surface of how all that is going to affect his marriage and his family, probably forever. And
totally.
That bothered me.
Yeah. I don't think it negatively impacted the community in the fact that, I mean, I didn't hear anybody talking about any of this stuff before.
No.
So, you know, it's one of those sex sells for sure, because that's all they made it seem like this book was. But it's also, it's a disservice to the community and this book to just wrap it up like that, because we didn't have people criticizing her for that. I think those problematic themes that needed to be criticized and critiqued.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making these happily ever after, it's just continuing that issue that is going on within relationships and society. You know, it's like, and it's again, she can fix him, you know?
Yeah. It's normalizing this idea that like you can get with an emotionally unstable man and fix him with your
sweetness.
With your ability to function as a somewhat emotionally intelligent person. I think that, you know, that also puts the burden on women too. And I think the difference between like, I can fix him, haha, you know, when you're talking about a guy who's clearly unfixable, right? Like, you know, I can fix him, I can, but it's like Ghostface, right? It's like, we can all joke about that. Like, we know he's a bad guy. I think the difference here and the reason why it's insidious is because like, it really paints a portrait of like, this is a fairly unhealthy relationship, not because of the sexual aspects, but because of all the other stuff. And we're just going to gloss all over that because now they're married and have kids and they're rich. I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit very well with me.
Yep. It sucks because it's like this book was painted as problematic because of the BDSM and Dom aspect. That's not why it's problematic.
No. At least not in our opinion. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not even any of that really in these books, like past the very beginning of book 1. And even
and it's
that
all
was tame.
consensual and semi-contractual, and flexible. And if anything, it's a good gateway to help people with it. And then the actual problems were just him as a person without all that.
Yeah, it's like normalizing this idea that like women should just put up with it because in the end, everything will be hunky dory. It's like she doesn't know what she's in for. She's 22 years old and good luck with that.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he will deal with all of his issues and everything will be hunky dory and amazing. But I think that, it could have been a very small addition to the book, like even just a little paragraph where Anna or Christian or both of them in conversation acknowledge that this is going to be a long journey to healing, right? Yeah. Where they're like, we both are bringing different things to the table. Christian obviously has this trauma, but I'm, Anna's willing to be there for him through the ups and downs because we know this is going to be like a long haul. And she says, things like, I love my 50 despite all of his, whatever, she's effed upness or whatever she calls it. But it seemed very surface level to me. I feel like that could have been addressed in a very small way that would have made a big difference in how I viewed this problem. Yeah.
And that's why, though, dark romance, generally speaking, has come such a long way, because I feel like that's tends to be the focus a lot more now, is like how to be better and like work together on those things. I'm generalizing, of course, but it's more often that we see a healthy representation now.
Well, I think lots of times people enjoy reading dark romance, like someone like me, because it can help you process trauma and emotional turmoil because of the way that it's presented in that way. And I feel like, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I don't know that anything about this book would ever help me to process any dark things from my past, And so if anything, it would just be like, oh, okay, we're just going to like glaze over all that, and just be fine in the end.
I mean, just seeing some charges against Miss Robinson would have been helpful.
Some closure.
Yeah. Some closure on some things would have been so quick and easy to fit in, even if she's on a page, limit.
Yeah, which I doubt. Like, it could have
I doubt. Yeah, I'm given the benefit of the doubt here, but like, it would have been better to do as a society. So hey.
So problematic but not for the reasons we thought and probably you thought if you haven't read this yet.
For sure. For sure.
What about red flags or critiques? Either yours or just the general public?
I mean, I feel like that's everything we just discussed, honestly.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah, I put the major red flags in this for me were obviously Christian's behavior, but we've already talked a lot about that. I put Anna's immaturity and willingness to constantly coalesce or silence herself because of Christian's anger issues. So, I mean, she mentions that often, like, oh, I'm just not going to bring this up right now because I don't know if he's going to be mad. Oh, please don't be mad at me. It's like, that's actually really that's not good.
Yeah. And like you said, it's painted in a way, we've read books that it's like that dynamic and it's not taken as the reader, like it's just like, we're just supposed to be okay with it too,
Yeah.
It's never really a red flag in the perspective that the author is writing. So we see it as an issue because we're in our 30s, but as a younger reader with less experience, you might be like, yeah, you do need to go with the flow, you do need to appease him and silence yourself.
Yeah, to make sure that he doesn't get mad at you every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, call you stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. Ooh. And then I also didn't like the, like, sex as a solution, quote unquote. So it's like, because of his emotional immaturity, it's like the only way that he knows how to fix, quote unquote, fix anything is just to have sex. And somehow that smooths it over and now it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since she was like previously a virgin, is basically like, you know, experiencing all of this stuff for the first time. It's like literally she's just, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like
Naive.
No, it's like she's dickmatized. That's literally what's going on, you know? that real word that we all know. But no, seriously though, like that's what's going on. Imagine it's like you're literally never had sex before and then you meet this guy who's like, you know, he's only 28 but apparently really good at sex and is like this is your awakening. And and she's getting in real deep, you know what I mean? Like now she's pregnant, now they're married, like slow your roll, you know? So I feel like the sex is a solution thing is just that rubbed me wrong too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So at the end of the day, that would mean that I am team neither. I am no, like I can't get on either one of your guys' side. What about you?
Yeah, same. Team, I'm so glad that's done. I do have a bonus question though.
Great.
Okay, so you know how Jack calls her and is like, I have your sister-in-law. Give me $5 million.
Yeah.
Meet me in 3 hours. Okay? So stupid. So my question to you would be, if someone did this to you, would you try to get the $5 million or would you try to get help?
I would literally try to get help.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure.
Also,
maybe that's the 22-year-old talking.
Yeah.
But
also,
it's like,
I don't know that it would be, I mean, maybe it is that easy, but like, I feel like she's like, oh, my ID doesn't even match my name, but great. Yeah. Give me the $5 million because I have this other credit card that says my married name on it. I don't know. It seemed unrealistic to me. But,
and they're not going to call Christian? Okay.
Yeah. So no, I may not have called the police immediately because my faith in that getting resolved in a timely manner is low. I said what I said. But what do we know? We know that extremely rich people usually have a lot of pull. And so I'd probably just call Christian and tell him what's going on. And he's probably able to mobilize the police faster than calling 911 would be able to do. And then try to handle it from that perspective. I'm not going, literally, no, I'm not going to go try to get this $5 million and then freaking stick your gun in my pants and like head down and try to like play vigilante.
In a stupid duffel bag.
Yeah.
Like,
she's like, I don't know how much money $5 million is. Let me just take these 2 duffel bags. Oh, Christian's gym bag will do. It's like, what is going on? Yeah, that seems crazy.
I guess I'm not serious enough to be like, I would just laugh at him. I'd be like, yeah, right. Okay. Jack, get out of here. Right. Hang up. Because like they say, right, a lot of those ransoms are fake anyways. You know, they have like those spam calls that people say like, your son was in a helicopter accident. Give me $5,000 or he's arrested. I don't know. These old people
Charlie
get spam
Tango?
calls. Yeah, Charlie Tango. Like, okay, spam call, hang up. Like, oh crap. What do I go from now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, can't get me.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny. Yeah, no. Call for help. Come on. You don't got
100%. It. Yeah, even if it's just like, I'm sorry, but it's like Christian has got to have ties with the mob. Like, let's just be real. Yeah. He's too rich not to. So, like, just call your mob guys. They'll go fix it. You know, I don't know. This seems crazy.
Especially because they keep, like, not wanting to get the cops involved.
Yeah.
It's like, because he's probably part of the mob, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean, like, in the second video we did, I thought security team had something. And then it was, like, her assistant. Like, I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
So, if it was one of the security guys,
that would have made more sense. Yeah.
Because he's with her all the time. So, he would know if she that is bad writing.
That is bad writing. It should have been Taylor Sawyer the whole time.
2 stars.
2 stars.
It should have been. Because it's like, oh, that sucks. He was there the whole time. Or at least the second guy that came in. You know? I don't remember his name, but.
Yeah, Sawyer, I think. Whatever.
Yeah. Tom Sawyer. Taylor Sawyer.
Okay, I've got some fun facts for us to end this on.
Hit it. Let's go.
Do you want the stupid first, or do you want the real fact first?
Okay, let's do the real fact first.
Okay, the story of Christian Grey, and I think these all came from Cosmopolitan, maybe. I can't remember, but whatever. The story of Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele has not only stimulated book sales around the world, It's also boosted sales of sex toys, helping more adventurous sex become mainstream. James's novel also impacted sales of things like whips, handcuffs, paddles, and even pleasure beads significantly around the world. It seems that couples were more than ready to explore the world of BDSM as the 50 Shades effect swept through the bedrooms of the world. Of course, it's also credited with causing a rise in sexually transmitted diseases. So there's that.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So it wasn't just the hardware stores and the rope. It was also stimulating the economy, if you will.
Yeah. Hey-o.
Hey-o. So, that is positive, though, at the end of the day. So, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So these were the stupid facts that I found. So the guy who plays Jamie, gosh, I'm forgetting his name now, but whatever, you guys know who he is. The guy who plays Jamie in the movies was getting interviewed for, I think it was, either Cosmo or Vogue or something. And he said that while he never did a full frontal shot in the movies, he said, as a guy, this is a quote, as a guy, you put all your essentials in a little bag and you tie it up like a little bag of grapes and then it's tucked away. That's literally how he described it in an interview. So
like a
great.
little bag of grapes.
So thanks for that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Dakota Johnson used a butt double.
Oh.
So
That
just
is
in
not
case,
her butt.
It is not her butt. Just in case you guys wondered about that. Some good old 50 Shades of Grey trivia. So now when you're watching it, you can think, well, not even, I wonder whose butt that is. It makes me think of Joey in Friends, when
He's
does
a butt double.
Well, no, when he has the full frontal shot and he has to come up with all those prosthetics. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. We wrapped it up. We're done with the trilogy. What a time to be alive.
Yep.
But hey, we've
Now-
got the parody coming next, which I'm
Yep.
excited for.
That's next, guys. So if you want to read it with us, make sure to join us on Fable if you'd like at Besties in the Book Club and come back next week to hear our thoughts all about it. Yeah.
Excited.
Are we going to have favorite parts, best parts, favorite characters? I don't know. It'll be a time.
Yeah,
We don't know
it
yet.
will be a good
You guys
time.
will find out soon.
I know. I haven't mapped that one out yet because I'm not sure how that will go. You know what I mean?
Like how hard is it going to go on the parody?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it a line by line parody? Like how many pages is it even? I don't know.
even know. I think it was between
know
300
nothing.
and 400 pages maybe. So it's not super
Still a
long,
lot.
but it's still
That's
a lot.
about the same length as
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right.
Well.
Well, we'll be here to report back soon. Stay tuned.
Yes, we will. So follow us, follow, subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast, including YouTube. And you guys, we'll see you next Friday
Tuesday and Friday.
Next Tuesday. Tuesdays and Fridays.
Tuesdays and Fridays every day. Bye.